the PS for Gender and Affirmative Action, Honorable Anne Wangombe, Executive Director for Crown Trusts, Daisy Amdanyi, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. I'm happy to join you this morning to be able to execute an important conversation, a conversation about what works for women. And, you know, I think it has been said, women in our country make up 50% of the population. And so it's important that we be able to have a conversation on what can we be able to do to be able to have every person in our republic to participate in the economic activities. I'm here on behalf of the chairman of the board of directors of the Central Bank of Kenya, Mr. Andrew Musangi, and I appreciate Crown Trust for extending your invitation to him. We do note that besides being one of the Sustainable Development Goals, that's the SDG 5, gender equality and women's empowerment plays a central role in the achievement of the other SDGs, such as inclusive economic growth and productivity employment, that is SDG 8. Research studies and historical evidence have shown that promoting gender equality promotes economic growth, poverty eradication, and better social outcomes. This forum, whose theme is What Works for Women's Economic Empowerment, is therefore timely and fundamental as it propagates evidence-based solutions towards addressing gender inequality. We note that we've done a lot of progress, especially in our country, to the extent that we have the kind of laws that are supposed to set the stage for having women on the conversation in every sector, be it on the social space, be it on the economic space, be it on the political space, and more importantly, even in driving the economy in the public sector. With that even having been done, research, which Daisy actually referred to, shows that 43.1% of operational micro and MSMEs are female-owned. And also research has shown us that most women actually participate in the agricultural sector, where they tend to participate more on the food crop and subsistence farming, which is very important and critical, especially to make sure that as a country we are food secure. We also, out of our various research, have actually found that through the FinAccess survey, that more women, and if you look at the journey for FinAccess in our country, it has improved from the time when mobile money came into being. Currently, we are having 84.1% of women who are actually financially included. And the conversation that should be here should be able to drive us not to talk about financial access, but about financial usage, about the financial quality, and then more importantly about financial impact, because that is then how we can be able to sort the issue around financial health. because at 84.1% of women being financially included, we are in a space where we sit pretty well globally. But then the conversation changes when we start looking at the usage. How many women in Kenya, especially in the rural areas, are able to participate fully, are able to access financial solutions, and also are able to participate in economic activities that will ultimately make them to have the power to utilize the financial services. So let's turn the conversation going forward to usage and impact, because that is where then we can be able to do better. Because then we can then look at what are these challenges that women are facing in their path to economic process. And one of them will be issues around limited access to finance. Whereas we know, and out of research, that more women are participating in MSMEs, the question is how many are able to access finance, and where even they access, what will be the costs? The second issue that is a challenge to most women is the lack of skills and low education levels. Financial literacy is very key and important, because then how can a woman running an MSME or running her own, farming activity be able to understand and work out on simple bookkeeping? Because then they will be able to know that out of my business, these are the income and my expenditure is here, and this is the net effect of my business. We want them to be able to do simple profit and loss accounts. The third challenge is where we see that more women are actually not paid for the work and care they do. Because out of research which was done by KNBS, it shows that women will always devote about 5.2 hours per day to unpaid care, while male will devote only 1.5 hours per day to the same activity. This actually time constraints then inhibits women's ability to engage in formal jobs, entrepreneurial initiatives, and other income-generating activities. And just then to come to what we have been able to do at the Central Bank of Kenya, for us to be able to foster access to credit and financial services to not only women, but every other Kenyan, especially at the lowest end of the pyramid, is we've had a number of initiatives. And these initiatives include, one, the digital financial services, where we are now regulating this space. And as I said, majority of Kenyans are accessing financial services and financial credit through the mobile channels. Secondly is the aspect of the credit information sharing mechanism, because then through that and through having the ability to have your credit history, then the issue of having to depend largely on collateral when you want security is supposed to be taken care of, because where you're able to take a facility and be able to religiously pay the facility as expected of you, then financial institutions are supposed to use that data which they have to be able to advance credit, and so, be able to handle or tackle the issue that hinders most women, which is lack of traditional collateral to be able to access credit. The third thing that we have done was, of course, the implementation of the Microfinance Act in 2008, and we know that most women, especially through their chamas, have been able to come together. And we know institutions such as the Kenya Women Finance Trust, which is a deposit-taking microfinance, that have been on the forefront to bring women together through table banking and then be able to access credit. We also, through the establishment of agency banking, brought banking services closer to many Kenyans in the rural areas, because then we had the issue of the rural-urban divide that was making women and also Kenyans in the rural areas not to be banked. They became an underserved population. But through the agency banking, we note that banking has been, taken closer to many, many Kenyans. And more importantly, I recall, and many of you will recall, many years ago, it used to be a journey, during the end month when salaries have been paid, we will know what our parents will do. So every end month, they will take the 5-liter paraffin container, and then they get into the next matatu, then for my parents, they go to Kitale because that was the nearest place for us. That is the day that we know then they will come home later in the evening with paraffin to take us through the month and some shopping. But right now, you can access your banking services on your phone or through your agency banking, who can be someone who is running a kiosk near your home. We have then also been able to reflect on what is it that is happening within the banking industry. And through that reflection, we came up with the Kenya Banking Sector Charter in 2019. And what we are envisaging and propagating for is a banking sector that works for and with Kenyans. It is anchored on 4 pillars, which is customer centricity, risk-based credit pricing, transparency, and ethical banking practices. And the customer centricity pillar focuses on developing financial products that address the unique needs of all customers, including women. And what we have seen out of this is many of our banking institutions have products that are tailored towards women, and these products are designed in a way that even the cost is actually lower than the traditional other products line. So we encourage many women to go to your banks and ask them about this kind of product, as we also encourage the banks to create awareness so that many women can be able to understand and we can be able to increase the uptake of these specific women products for women-led enterprises. In addition, as I conclude, we are also coming up with the National Financial Inclusion Strategy. What we realize is that in our country, we've had really, and we've done exceptionally well, as I said, on the financial inclusion space. However, we didn't have one strategy that brings on board all the actors. What we have been seeing is fragmented strategies by different agencies. But the central bank and other agencies are in the process to develop that strategies, which is anchored on 5 pillars. The first pillar is to deepen access to financial services, which will address barriers to high service costs, lack of infrastructure in rural areas, and low financial literacy. The second pillar is enhancing usage and quality of financial products. This will promote financial services that are user-friendly, affordable, and effective in meeting customer needs. The third pillar is on strengthening consumer protection, financial literacy, and market conduct, because we want a space where, as you utilize your financial services, you utilize it in a space where, you are protected as a consumer, where then we don't end up having to pay very high cost. And it's one of the reasons, actually, that we brought into our regulation the digital credit providers, because many Kenyans were complaining on the high cost of credit. The fourth pillar is on developing an inclusive, rural and sustainable green finance market, which is largely to expand the financial services to agriculture, which is a key sector for us, climate finance, and sustainability projects. And the final pillar is on promoting inclusive finance for priority groups. This will ensure financial services are accessible to women, persons with disabilities, youth, MSMEs, and forcibly displaced persons. This strategy seeks to foster financial inclusion while addressing financial inclusion gaps, thereby deepening the usage, quality, and impact of financial services. Pillar 5, which is on promoting inclusive finance, aims to specifically improve access and usage of finance by women in our country. We also continue to make sure that we utilize data-driven insights, which are very critical to enable us to design targeted solutions to enhance women's financial access. And in this regard, we are incorporating gender disaggregated supply side data into financial returns submitted by institution. This will enable the Central Bank of Kenya to better understand and address the unique financial needs and challenges faced by women, thereby informing more effective policy measures to promote gender-inclusive financial inclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to stop there. I'm wishing you really great deliberations ahead, and I'm hoping that we can be able to continue to engage so that we'll be able to see what are the opportunities that we can be able to tap on to find solutions to women who comprise of over 50% of the population of Kenyans. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.